Hi guys, it's Ben Heath from Lead Guru, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to create Facebook custom audiences. I want this to be the ultimate custom audience tutorial. I'm going to show you how to create them. I'm going to show you how to target them, how you actually retarget using custom audiences. I'm going to rank them for you so you know exactly which ones you want to be using, which ones you want to be using first, which ones you don't want to be using at all. So if you've got questions and you want to be using custom audiences as part of Facebook advertising, which you absolutely should be, if you're advertising on Facebook, you absolutely should be advertising to custom audiences, then I think you're going to find this video really, really useful. Before I get into that, I just want to very quickly ask you to smash that like button and of course subscribe to my channel if you are new and haven't done so already. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm in an example Facebook ad account here. And I'm in Ads Manager, so you're probably very familiar with this view. To create custom audiences, you want to go ahead and jump over to the Audiences tab. So if you click on these three little lines, I've got it up here in shortcuts, which you probably will have it. Otherwise, you can just scroll down and find it on the left-hand side. But you want to go ahead and jump into Audiences. Now, this is an example ad account. I create demonstration practice type stuff all the time. So there's all sorts of things in here. Don't worry about that. You don't need to think about that for now. We're going to go through this. To create custom audiences, you want to go ahead and click on this Create Audience button and then click on Custom Audience. Now with this window up, I just want to very quickly explain exactly what a custom audience is. So a custom audience refers to a group of people that have already interacted with your business previously. And creating custom audiences, which is what you need to do to advertise to them, and then advertising to them through a retargeting campaign. Is what retargeting is usually referred to. You're usually targeting a custom audience. Is absolutely essential to producing the best Facebook advertising results, because people that have already interacted with your business before, whether that's, as we're going to get into these examples in a minute, whether that's someone who's visited your website or someone that's on your email list or someone that's just watched a video of yours on Facebook, that person is far more likely to convert, far more likely to buy your products or services than a cold audience. So for every single sales funnel that we put together for our clients, we are creating Facebook ads, custom audiences, and including them in our retargeting ad sets, our retargeting campaigns. Okay, so that's what custom audiences are. Right, we're going to run through some of the examples here now. So you can see at the top, we've got your sources and we've got Facebook sources, often referred to as off-app versus in-app sources. So what I'd encourage you to do is start with the your sources. The sources of custom audiences that you have that are external to Facebook and Instagram usually contain people that are higher quality. So as an example, someone who has visited your website is probably more interested in your business, more likely to buy your products and services than someone who has just watched 10 seconds of video of yours on Facebook. There's a higher level of interaction there. They've demonstrated more commitment, more interest in what it is that you are as a business, what it is you're advertising. So that's why you want to start with the your sources. And the absolute best custom audience to advertise to, the best one to start with, is a customer list. So if I go ahead and click on customer list and then I select next. Now I'm not going to walk through this exact process because that would obviously demonstrate, people on my email list data and things like that. So I can't go through that process, but it's very straightforward. You can just click through these various options and upload stuff here. But people on your customer list, people who've already bought from you previously, that is the highest level of intent you can possibly get. So that is absolutely the first audience, custom audience that you want to create, and absolutely one you want to be advertising to. Assuming, of course, that you don't just sell the one product and it's not just a one-time purchase, okay? So if you just sell the one product and it's a one-time purchase, then yeah, no point creating a custom audience of your previous customers and advertise to those people. But if you have repeat purchases, or if you have a range of different products where people might have bought one thing and they could be sold other stuff, absolutely want to be retargeting these people. And I think it's a bit of a myth that people, advertisers often don't want to retarget people who've bought from them before with their other products or to get them to buy it again if it's like a subscription or a product or a consumer product, because they're concerned or they think it's a waste of money because those people can come back and buy anyway. Nonsense. People forget, they have busy lives, you need to be reminding them even if they bought from you previously. So absolutely go ahead and create a customer list, custom audience. To upload, so that's Tier 1 is a customer list, people who've bought from you previously. And you may have that in MailChimp, which you can import directly, as you can see here, or you can just download a file template. You can just upload a file. You can download a file template to help you out with that, but you can just upload a file like an Excel document that's got the data. Name, one column, email list, email address, another column, whatever other information you have. You can see that you've got these main identifiers. This is what Facebook uses to match people. Email is going to be the best option. If you've got email addresses in there and names, fantastic. Upload it, add the information, job done. Very simple and straightforward. Okay, I'm going to close that down. I wanted to click back actually. So create audience, custom audience. So the best one is a customer list. Just beneath the customer list, in terms of the results that you're going to get when you retarget these people, is an email list. And I like to think of these as separate things. I know a lot of people have it bundled all in one go, but in my mind, we have our customer list, so people on our email list that have bought from us previously. And then we have our email list, which contains people who have subscribed for whatever reason, but they haven't gone on to board. Again, not every business is going to have these. Some will have one, some won't have the other. Absolutely fine. If you don't have either of these, not a problem. We're going to get onto stuff that everyone has or will have as soon as they start advertising. The next one is your email list. Again, if someone's joined your email list, that is a very high level of intent. They showed they're really interested in your products or services. Otherwise, they wouldn't have subscribed in the first place. And that is absolutely a custom audience you want to create. And you do it exactly the same way. So you click on customer list, and you just upload it, whether it's imported from MailChimp or separate CSV or TXT file. Super simple, job done. Okay. After that, in the tiers of the best Facebook ads custom audiences is website activity. So if you go to your sources, you want to click on website. Now, in order to be able to create custom audiences based on people who visit your website, so this is so that you can, anyone who visits your website, you can put them into custom audience and then you can then retarget these people. And by the way, this is a quick point to mention because Facebook have popped it up here. I am going to talk about how iOS 14 affects custom audiences and the changes that we're making now post iOS 14 as opposed to what we did previously. I will get to that, so don't worry about that. Okay, so in order to create a website custom audience and then be able to retarget those people, you need to have the Facebook pixel installed in your website. So I'll include a link beneath this video in the description to another video that shows you exactly how to install the pixel, how to verify your domain, all the stuff you need to do with the pixel in 2021, okay? Now, the first website custom audience that I would recommend you create, obviously once you've got the pixel set up, is all website visitors, so that's anyone that's visited your website, and I would extend, you can see the retention default is 30 days, but the maximum is 180 days, and I would go with 180 days. Now, people often want to go with shorter custom audiences, so people who have visited more recently. Here's why that's not really necessary. Facebook knows. So Facebook knows if someone visited 5 days ago versus if they visited 50 days ago. And they are absolutely going to advertise to people that visited 5 days ago first, and then they will get to the people that visited 50 days ago. By increasing this retention, this time period, you are only increasing your potential audience. And look, someone that visited your website 90 days ago is still much better to advertise to than someone that's never heard of you, never visited your website, anything like that. Hopefully that sounds kind of obvious. It could. I do that all the time. I research a certain product, or perhaps I'm thinking of taking a holiday or something like that, and I don't look at it for months and months and months, and I go, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get that done now. And often it will be an ad that will remind you, that will pop up, and you go, yes, I've been meaning to get that booked, or I have been meaning to buy one of those. Let's go ahead and get that taken care of now. Okay, so I encourage you to go all website visitors 180 days, and then you very simply want to give this audience a name. So I would normally go with something like all website visitors 180. Super simple. Description completely up to you. You just want to give your custom audience a name that you're going to recognize when you've got tons in your ad account, and you go, what's that? So that's what I start with, and you go ahead and click create audience. Boom, done. Now, once you've gotten familiar with all website visitors, perhaps you've used it a few times, or if you've got tons and tons of website traffic and you want to start being more specific, then you can click on this option, this event option down here, and you can come with some of the options. So you could, for example, go from your event. So anyone that's clicked add to cart, that's triggered the add to cart event, assuming again that's set up correctly on your website, you might want to specifically retarget them. We retarget them with catalog sales campaigns, for example, all the time. More information on that to follow. So you can start to get more specific. Depending on how your event's set up, that may or may not be a good option. For example, if you've got a website that is looking to generate leads, and perhaps you want to retarget the people that have become leads with an ad that helps them convert, because perhaps you're calling them and you're emailing them and you're trying to get them to take the next step and hire you for your services, but a retargeting ad with, say, a client testimonial might be a good thing to throw in there as well. So you could create it based on people who've become a lead on your website. You can also do things like people who visited specific pages. So if you had a specific page on your website, so for example, let's say as my business, my company Lead Guru, we offer done for you Facebook advertising services. We also sell Facebook advertising related courses, right? So let's say I wanted to come in and do something like leadguru.co.uk/done for you, which is if I spell it correctly, that's the main page where you're going to find information about our done for you services, right? So I could go ahead and be aware of there's URL contains, URL equals. If I put it all in like that, then I'd want to do equals. If I had, for example, a whole bunch of pages about services, I could do URL contains and just take services. But perhaps I want to create this type of custom audience because I have a specific type of ad I want to run for our done for you services. So I only want that to be sent to people that have visited that page, the done for you page. Whereas perhaps I have a course called Facebook Ads Insiders. Perhaps I wanted to create an ad and put it in front of people that have visited the sales page for Facebook Ads Insiders, because I want to help convince them to purchase it. Again, it could be with like someone who's bought it before testimonial, or it could be with more information about what's included in the course, or reminding people that there's a 14-day money back guarantee, that sort of thing. So you can start to get more specific for your marketing needs, and this will really depend on your business. I said just about everyone should start with all website visitors, and then you can start to get more specific. You can also start to add in exclusions, okay? So I can click on, for example, exclude people. So I want to create a custom audience out of everyone who's visited my Facebook Ads Insiders page on my website, right? But perhaps I don't want to also be advertising to people that have purchased it. So let's go ahead and add in people who visited specific web pages. Let's change the retention to be the same thing. So we've got 180 days up here, 180 days down there. And then if the URL contains thank you, so they've reached one of my thank you pages, and that's a good way of using contains, actually. It's a good example because obviously we sell a bunch of different things. There might be different pages on there. If the URL contains thank you, or I could put in a specific one for Facebook Ads Insiders, then I want them excluded. Okay. Now what this will do is this will advertise to people that have visited my Facebook Ads Insiders page, so they've checked out the information, but they haven't bought it. It's going to exclude the people that have bought it. And there are obvious reasons why you would want to do something like that, okay? So again, think about how this would work through your business. Now this audience, for example, could be Facebook Ads Insiders visitors, 180, and then I put something in here like excluding purchases, okay? And you can start to see how there are just tons of different options when it comes to website custom audiences here, right? Tons of different options. You can have people that do certain things, but not, they've done A, but not B, C, and D. They've done B, but not C and D. All sorts of different stuff, right? Now, what I would do for exclusions when it comes to website custom audiences is we would often just create the one layer and we wouldn't exclude at the custom audience level. What we'd actually do is we create one custom audience, for example, of people who visited the Facebook Ads Insiders page, and then we create a separate custom audience of people who have purchased the Facebook Ads Insiders course, and then we would add those both in at the ad set level, which I'm going to show you how to do in a minute. So that way it just gives you more flexibility. This is just the one audience. You can't have one and not the other and all that sort of stuff. But you can create something like this as well. So that we can go ahead and click create audience, boom, and that's done. Don't have to worry about this stuff. I'm going to talk about lookalikes in a little bit. So let's go back in to custom audiences. So we talked about customer list and email list, then website related custom audiences, which are the next tier. Now I would say that every single advertiser wants to be advertising to customer list, email list, and website visitors. Okay, that's a no-brainer. Again, of course, assuming you have them. You might be watching this going, but I don't have a customer list, I don't have an email list. That's absolutely fine. If you're telling me you don't have website visitors, that's only because you either haven't got the pixel installed or you haven't started advertising yet. As soon as you start advertising and sending people to your website, you will be generating website visitors, unless, of course, you're using one of the other campaign objectives like lead generation, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But the vast majority of people watching this are going to have website visitors already or about to be generating them once they start running Facebook ad campaigns. Right, now I think now is a perfect opportunity to talk about iOS 14.5 and the effect it's had on website custom audiences, because iOS 14.5 has had a big impact on website custom audiences and app activity custom audiences. You will see that we get the warning there, but for example, if I go back and I click on video and click next, no warning on that type of custom audience, right? Because iOS 14.5 restricts Facebook's ability to track what people do once they leave Facebook. These are all down here are Facebook sources, and therefore they're not affected by the iOS 14.5 update, in as much as, everything to do with Facebook advertising is a little bit affected because Facebook have changed some stuff, but not directly impacted. Like, you can still track people that watch your videos, no problem. However, with the website, click next again, with the website custom audiences, if someone is using an iOS 14.5 or later setup device, and they don't opt into tracking, there's a very good chance that they will not be included in your custom audience. And that's annoying, that sucks, that reduces the size of your custom audience, which, as we know, a website custom audience is fantastic. You absolutely want to be advertising them to them, and that being reduced in size is annoying. It's not something any of us want. Nothing you can do about it. If that's the case, well, that is the case, and with that being the case, what we need to do is add in some other types of custom audiences in order to try and make up for the loss of audience size. Now, typically, I used to recommend that you advertise to customer list, email list, website visitors, and that more or less be all the custom audiences that you retarget with your Facebook ad campaigns, pre-iOS 14.5. Now I'm recommending that you add in some of the Facebook sources. I think that's now become a lot more important because we have lost some data with the website custom audience lot post-iOS 14.5. So, as I said, there's no way around that. There's no quick fix. We've lost some data. This is the best way to go about getting it back. Because if someone's on an iOS 14 device and let's say they watch a video of yours and then click onto the website, you can't track what they do on your website very well, but you can absolutely track the fact that they watched a video of yours, okay? Which leads us nicely onto Facebook sources, because that's where the next step is. I'm not going to talk about app activity or offline activity, by the way. I'm going to be creating separate videos about those topics because they're like whole separate things. I'm going to be focusing here on what 98% of all the people, plus of all the people who watch my videos, are going to be using. So there's going to be a few down here that I don't focus on either. The next one is video. So this is on Facebook sources. And when you talk about Facebook, we are talking about both Facebook and Instagram. And with this type of custom audience, you can retarget, you can create a custom audience out of anyone that has watched a video of yours on Facebook or Instagram. A fantastic audience to retarget, particularly after the iOS 14.5. So the way it works is you want to come in and select engagement here and you choose a content type. So if I click on this little drop down, we can see that there are certain criteria that need to be met, kind of like the all website visitors versus people that visit specific pages. And you can go with anyone who's viewed at least 3 seconds of your video. So depending on the length of your video, hardly anything. And that's going to lead to your largest video viewer custom audience, okay? If you're just getting started, you have very, very small custom audiences, it's absolutely fine to go with something like people who've viewed at least 3 seconds. If you're starting to get much larger numbers of video viewers, say in the tens of thousands, especially in the hundreds of thousands, I'd look to be a little bit more discerning and go with something like people who have watched at least 25% of your video. There's always a trade-off with custom audiences between how interested someone is, their intent, their likeliness to buy, and the higher percentage of your video watched, the more interested they are, the more likely they are to buy when you advertise to them. So that's on one side of the column, let's say. And then on the other side, the counterbalancing force is how large the audience is. Now, we know that Facebook ad campaigns perform better with larger audiences, so that's your trade-off, okay? There's going to be far less people that watch 25% of your video versus 3 seconds, but these people are going to be better quality. So that's why as you start to generate more video viewers, you want to be more discerning and go with a higher percentage. It's also why when I gave the website visitor example, when you're getting started, go with all website visitors. And then as you start to generate more and more website visitors, that's when you perhaps want to be more specific and go with specific pages and things along those lines. So I'm going to go with 25% of your video because I think that's a really good place to, already had it selected, a really good place to start. Then you want to go ahead and choose the videos. So you can be specific around which videos people watch in order to be included. So if I click on this, I've got a bunch more videos. Again, short ones, I get more views on Instagram, which doesn't surprise me and is expected. But I can go ahead and select, a whole bunch here. They get added on this side. I go ahead and click confirm. And then people who've watched these 25%, fantastic. Fairly straightforward, okay? I would normally go with basically as many videos as you've got or can add, or at least as many videos as you've got around a certain topic. So for example, again, if I wanted to create an ad campaign that was retargeting people that are interested in our services, I might select all the videos about our services versus all the videos about our courses, or my content's not really about our services like that. It might be more like I might create a custom audience out of anyone that's watched a video of mine that's to do with Facebook ads targeting, and then so I select all the targeting related videos, and then I might do the same, but instead of it being targeting, do it with ad creative. So select all the videos about ad creative. you see how you could make that work for your business. Retention. Facebook defaults to 365 days, which is the maximum. Fantastic. That's what we want. Why would we want to make it any smaller? So then I would just give this a name like video viewers 25%, 365, and then I might have targeting to let me know that these are those aren't, I've just grabbed a bunch, but let me know that those are targeting related videos. So that's a video viewer custom audience. Now that is absolutely something I would recommend that you create and that you add in, provided you are using videos across Facebook and Instagram as part of your marketing efforts. I think post iOS 14 is definitely worth doing. The first one was video. Next one I'll talk about is lead form, because this is something that you may or may not be using depending on your type of business. If you're not using lead generation campaigns, so that's a campaign where instead of someone clicking through to your website, they click on the ad and they're presented with a form within Facebook or Instagram. They then fill out their information, send it to you, become a lead, boom, you can follow up with them, try and convert them into a customer. I've got video tutorial all about lead generation campaigns. I'll include a link in the video description in case you want to check that out. So you can create custom audiences out of people that interacted with your lead forms, which if you're running lead generation campaigns is absolutely something you want to do. If not, you can ignore this section. So if I go ahead and click on next, and we're then presented with this window. So the first thing, just like with the others, is to choose the event. So do we want to retarget anyone that opened this form? Perhaps people that opened it but didn't submit it. That could be a great option. If someone opened the form but didn't actually submit their information, they were interested, they were thinking about it, but perhaps got distracted or perhaps weren't quite ready to go ahead. Now they are. Or you can go with people who opened and submitted the form. Perhaps you want to retarget people that did submit the form, but they haven't yet converted, and again you want perhaps like a client testimonial in front of them to help push them over the line. Okay, so this would, depending on what one you select, would really depend on what it is your objective is here, what it is you're advertising, but we'll just go with anyone open this form for now. Then you obviously want to select your lead form. I don't think I've got any created because I haven't run a lead generation campaign on my page in a long time, but you would just click on the drop down and select from whatever options you've got. Hopefully you've given them a name that you'll recognize if you've got a whole bunch of lead forms. And then retention, the maximum is 90 days, which is interesting with lead forms, so that's what I'd recommend you go with. It's shorter, I'm not exactly sure why, but there we go. Then you just want to give your audience a name, just like we did before. It won't let me create this because I don't have any lead forms set up, and I'm going to go ahead and click back. But that's lead forms very quickly. Okay, so I'm going to skip over Insta Experience Shopping and I'm going to go to Instagram account. As I said, I'm not going to focus on every single one in this tutorial. I want this to be applicable to the 98% of people who watch my videos, and I'll create separate videos about the other stuff because there's a lot more information involved. But let's click on Instagram account. So let's go ahead and select next. And in this custom audience, we've got, again, a whole bunch of different options. So obviously make sure you've got the right account selected, and then you want to go ahead and click on events. Now there are interesting options here. So the first option, the default, is everyone who engaged with this professional account. And you can see that Facebook provide more information. Includes people who visited this profile or took an action on this post or ad, such as likes, comments, save, carousel swipes, button taps, or shares. This is going to be your largest custom audience when it's to do with your Instagram account. And if you're running campaigns on Instagram as well, which I know the majority of you will be, it's what I'd usually recommend, this is a great place to start. If you're getting tons of engagement, tons of interaction on Instagram, then you may want to come and be more specific. So for example, you could go with anyone who visited professional accounts profile. So it visited your profile, people who engage with the post or ad. So this will include, you can see the detail here, took an action such as likes, comments, saves, carousel swipe buttons, or shares. This one's a little bit larger because it's all inclusive of that and the other stuff. You can do people who saved a post or ad as well. That's going to be really very specific. But for the most part, I'd recommend people go with everyone engaged. Retention, the maximum is 365 days for the same reasons as outlined earlier. We're going to go ahead and go with that. And then I'm just going to give this a name like Instagram Engages 365. 365. Super simple, easy audience to create. A great one, definitely one I'd look to now include in your Facebook ad campaign. So the majority of advertisers, let's bring up the window again, are going to want to be creating custom audiences out of customer list, email list, and website visitors. You may or may not have those, in which case that's absolutely fine, but those three. Then if you are advertising videos, definitely videos. If you are using lead generation forms, definitely lead forms. You may or may not be using those. If you're advertising on Instagram, which will be almost all of you, then you want to be creating the Instagram Engagers custom audience. I'm going to skip over events for the same reasons outlined previously. And then the last one that you want to be including in is a custom audience from people that have engaged with your Facebook page. So you want to make sure, obviously, you've got the right page selected. And then if we click into the event section, you can see that the default is everyone who engaged with your page. And Facebook, again, provide more information. You'll see that these options are somewhat similar to the Instagram Engagers custom audience. But here we've got everyone engaged with your page, includes people who have visited your page or taken an action on a post or ad, such as reactions, shares, comments, link clicks, and carousel swipes. So that's the default, and that includes the options beneath it, like anyone who visited your page, people who engaged with post or ad, people who clicked a call to action button. You can also now create a custom audience where it says here, people who currently like or follow your page. And you can see, as of the recording of this video, this is quite a new feature. You can see it pop up here, a new way to reach people who currently like or follow your page. It really, it depends on whether you've run like Facebook page like campaigns in the past to get lots of likes, whether you want to use this option or not. It's not where I would start with most Facebook advertisers, not something I'd say that most Facebook advertisers absolutely want to use, but I do think you absolutely want to be including this one. Everyone engaged with your page, just in the same way that we created the Instagram Engagers custom audience. To me, this one's a no-brainer as well to include the Facebook page Engagers custom audience. Again, retention 365, and we go with Facebook page Engagers 365, create audience. Okay, so before I get into adding this into an ad set and how we would therefore make it look and how we would structure it, I want to quickly talk about lookalike audiences. Lookalike audiences are something that you create off of custom audiences. So let's say you take a custom audience like your website visitors. You say to Facebook, look, these 10,000 people have visited my website, or 500 or whatever it is. I'd like you to find me more people that are just like them. And I would like you to create a lookalike audience for me so I can advertise to people that are just like the people that visit my website. Lookalike audiences are tremendously effective, absolutely something I would recommend. I'll include a link in the video description below, which is all about lookalike audiences, how you create them, all that sort of stuff. I think you're going to find that really useful, so you can go through that. But I just want to quickly mention that because if you're seeing this stuff pop up and you're thinking, aren't lookalike audiences part of custom audiences? And in my mind, at least, and most Facebook advertisers would talk about them as separate things. Okay, even if the nomenclature can be a little bit different. Okay, right, we've now created our custom audiences, so let's go ahead and jump into Ads Manager. And in Ads Manager, I'll show you how to put these custom audiences in and how we would make it work. So let's go ahead and create a new campaign. We'll go with conversions because that's what I'm normally advertising. I'm going to click continue, and I'm just going to jump into the ad set level, okay? Because the ad set level is where you add in your custom audiences. Don't worry about the rest of the stuff. And you can see we've got this custom audiences section, okay? So if I click into here, we now want to add the custom audience we created. So we want to add in our Facebook page engagers, our Instagram engagers, our video viewers. I said for you, there may also be lead forms. There may not be some of these options. You would want to add in your website visitors. We ended up, for demonstration purposes, creating a bit of a different one. But there's probably one in here. Or website visitors, there we go. We want to add in, I said this is an example account, so there's all sorts of older stuff in here, which is great. We want to add in an email list, okay. And we want to add in, go on, let there be a customer list. No, there isn't already a customer list set up in here, but you can imagine that email 0320 is a customer list. And that is what typically our custom audience selection would look like, okay? So that is obviously going to differ between advertisers. So some of you may not have, I said, a customer list or an email list. You just have to imagine that's a customer list. You may not have video viewers. You may have lead forms instead, but I've talked through this enough, but hopefully at this point you understand which ones you want to be including depending on your business, things like that. As I said, you can also do exclusions. So where I said before how we might be targeting people who visited certain pages, like perhaps a sales page on a website, but we want to go ahead and exclude. This is exactly how you do it. You go ahead and exclude, and let's say we would want to exclude, there we go, thank you page visitors 180, right? People who have visited the thank you page means they've already bought. We don't want to advertise them. Again, you can see Facebook's popping up these warnings. Post iOS 14.5. This is not as straightforward and as accurate as it used to be. It's annoying. I wish it wasn't the case, particularly with website visitor custom audiences. Some people might slip through, if that makes sense, this custom audience, because we just can't track what they're doing once they leave Facebook and Instagram as well as we used to be able to do, which is annoying, but just one of those things, okay? But this is how we would go about structuring it. I wouldn't automatically default to conclusions. Like our default would normally be something that, imagine that's a customer list that looks very similar to this, okay? But once you get more advanced and more technical, like I showed you, and you want to be able to put in exclusions, you can absolutely go ahead and do that. And yeah, hopefully see fantastic results because of that. I mean, custom audiences are absolutely something that every Facebook advertiser should be using. It's a no-brainer. I've heard people say things like, yeah, but after iOS 14, custom audiences aren't as good. And you're like, okay, but that's still great. Like, they might not be quite as good as they were, but it doesn't mean you don't want to be advertising to them. They're still going to perform better than all your cold audiences, virtually guaranteed, unless, something really weird has happened, but virtually guaranteed you want to be advertising to them. So get them in there and enjoy the better results. Before you go, a couple of things I want to quickly mention. The first is our Facebook advertising services. So my company, Lead Guru, is a specialist Facebook and Instagram advertising agency, and we create, manage, and optimize Facebook and Instagram ad campaigns for our clients. We have a minimum budget requirement of $3,000 per month. If that sounds like something that's interesting to you, if you'd like to find out more, you can book a free, no obligation 30-minute strategy session with one of our team members. Just click on the link in the video description below. You go through, have a quick chat with them, find out about our fees. We can find out about your business. Super simple. See if we want to work together. Other thing I want to talk about is our YouTube channel membership. So I recently added YouTube channel membership as an option. And as my YouTube channel has grown, it's become so difficult for me to keep up with all the comments and questions and things like that. So I'm prioritizing member comments. So basically, for a small monthly fee, you can become a member of my YouTube channel. You get certain perks. One of them is priority reply to comments. So I'm going to prioritize replying to comments. I'm still going to try my best to reply to non-member comments as well, but there's only so much time I can dedicate to that before it just becomes silly. Members also, if you become a member of my channel, you also get access to member-only polls, so you can have a say in what content I create next if there's topics you particularly want me to cover. So yeah, and if you want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. That's really appreciated. If you found my content useful, I'd be much appreciated you going ahead and becoming a member. So yeah, so that's what I want to quickly mention. Before you go, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I release Facebook advertising related content all the time, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye for now.